Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Diddy's team, you have just made a fatal error. If you guys don't know, court started a little bit later today from 1 to 5, but Diddy's team has just made a fatal error. And you guys, I think this guarantees he's not going free. Yo, Tenny Garrigos was the one. Okay, if you guys don't know, let me give you a thing about what happened, right? First, I have to give you like the legal background, okay? There's such a thing as opening a door, okay? Remember when I said law is a game, right? And you never want to ask. It's the epitome of never ask a question you don't want the answer to. Do not, hey, what's up, good logic? Pretty good. Do not ask the question that you do not want the answer to. Why? Because only things there's certain things that under the hearsay rule and the federal rules of evidence, you cannot talk about, which is why something might have happened, such as Bona getting a settlement offer from Diddy, but you can't talk about it in court because it's hearsay upon hearsay, blah, 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 blah. However, there is an exception that every lawyer hopes and prays for. What is that exception? That you open the door on it. What is opening the door? It's basically saying, Tisa, you cannot talk about the way you saw John steal cookies, okay? All right, you can, let me take my earrings off, I'm getting hyped. You cannot talk about the way John steals cookies, right? Jessica Washington, thank you so much for the super chat. However, John starts talking about the cookies. Oh, baby, I got things to say. Because not only did I not see you steal the cookies, John, but I have a video, I have the text messages, I have the notes. So you want to talk about the cookies? Let's talk about the cookies. That is why that even though things are on the direct and even though things are on cross-examining, they walk a narrow line. You want to really get in evidence and insinuate things that lead the jury to believe that your side is right, but you don't want to open the door to any line of questioning that can do your client dirty, especially with defense. Deborah Graham, thank you so much. So where does that equal into Jane? Oh my God, you guys. Jane had, so there are notes that Jane took in her, there's notes that were taken in the notes app, right? Let me be very clear about this, okay? Now, all the notes prior to Cassie's lawsuit, they can talk about because it deals with state of mind, this and that. But the defense had argued that it stops once Cassie filed her lawsuit in November 2023. Now, here's the thing. Jane has a lot of text messages from November 23 to November 2024, which, whatever are in those text messages, the defense has been fighting tooth and nail to keep out. Whatever it is, it's so big, it's so damaging that the defense has been going crazy saying that they should not be, that the prosecution should not be allowed to reference them. And the reason they actually got that off is because they said, listen, we're making arguments, right? Because you can make an argument on motive. We're making an argument, right, that one of Jane's motives for maybe not telling the truth and maybe not being truthful is Cassie's lawsuit. You saw the lawsuit, you wanted to get money, you saw what Cassie said, and you tailored your testimony to sound like Cassie. Motive is a very good thing. The jury gets into it. Like, yeah, maybe you did do this. However, okay, the prosecution was able to bring in all the text messages from November 2023 prior, because they say, how can this be the motive when she was thinking this even before she even knew about Cassie's lawsuit? So how can you really say that this is motive? It's not over, okay? However, the prosecution has been fighting to get the text messages in from November 23rd to November 2023 to November 2024, but they didn't have a door. I don't know what is going on with Tenny Garrigos because we know she is one of the best. Listen, Diddy got $1 million lawyer team, multi-million-dollar, and it shows, okay? Tenny, Brian, Westmoreland, Xavier, right? Even throwing Mark Agnifilio, right? They have a multi-million-dollar team, okay? But Tenny's been off yesterday and she's been off today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why, but she hasn't seemed like she is on top of her game. I'm actually just tired. They didn't make Miss Westmoreland do it, right? Anyway, Tenny, in her cross-examination She was implying that the reason why Jane might be doing this is because she made a throwaway comment where she said, and you're doing this because of the immunity deal. Immunity deal. She said, absolutely. She said, you're doing this from the immunity deal. Absolutely. And what happens in the immunity deal? Jane was like, they get to decide whether I'm telling if I lie, then I'm paraphrasing. If I lie, then I go to jail or like whatever, right? And Timmy said, and who gets to decide if you're telling the truth? Jane was like, the court does? Who gets to decide if you're telling the truth? She said, the court? You mean the government? She said, I mean the court. You mean the government gets to decide if you're telling truth, right? It was a throwaway comment, but it was very clear. She was trying to imply, at least the way I heard it, okay? And I remember that moment. She was trying to imply that she might be changing her testimony to go along with what the prosecution says, right? To go along with what the prosecution says, because she's trying to get out of jail, she's tailoring, she's trying to keep on their good favor, okay? This is what is being implied, all right? And I remember that comment, and I didn't think that it was going to come back, but baby, the prosecutors have been combing through everything. And they said, they literally did a Kanye West, and they was like, gotcha, because they actually got her. Maureen called me, literally jumped up. Hold on. Okay, so listen. Maureen called me, jumped up, and we'll get into something else. I think I'm not the only one that thought Tenny was off her game. Diddy kept looking over at her like, girl, if you don't get on your job, right? But Diddy, shut up, because at the end of the day, what you gonna do with rotten zucchini, okay? Anyway, you guys, don't forget, I will be on Spoutable Friday. There's gonna be a link in the description box. I'm having a town hall where you guys can ask me. It's going to be kind of like Twitter Spaces, but better. You guys, and there's a link. You don't have to sign up to listen. If you want to talk, just download the Spotify app or make an account where I will be letting you guys talk. You guys can talk about questions. You guys can do this. It's going to be a town hall. It's going to be really fun, but you guys can actually pick my brain. It'll be a weekly recap of everything. And you guys can even ask me the stuff you've been seeing in the blogs, the stuff you've been seeing all over all other channels. And I'll give you my opinion and I'll tell you what I saw and what I heard. Don't forget ABC Live. Don't forget Nightline. Don't forget your girl is keeps popping up every day at Nancy Grace. And we have a few other things going. There's going to be links in the description box. But, thanks to you guys, we are doing things. But I wanted to say a thank you to you guys. I think I'm also going to have a giveaway. Okay? The town hall is going to be Friday at, I think, 7 or 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? I think I'm going to have a giveaway, okay? I think I'm going to give away $250 to a person, the first person in the Spoutable chat that tells me an Easter egg. I'm going to say in one of my lives between now and Friday, yo, this is blah, 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 blah. And the first person to actually tell me that, orally, they will be immediately sent $250, okay? So let's get into this, okay? First of all, they're not getting rid of the jury. The jury number 16, we'll talk about that later, but they are not getting rid of the jury. But maybe they don't have to. Why would they want to? Listen to what is going on, okay? Okay, so anyway, Oh, one thing that I did think was really funny is Judge Aaron put the fear of God on Diddy. When they went to a sidebar, right? The jury was sitting there. I was looking to see what Diddy did. He must got the fear of God put on him. Diddy was sitting there with his head down and his hand over his face like this. So nobody could misinterpret him at all of looking at the jury. I don't know why. I just thought that was the funniest thing ever, okay? Anyway, also, the government, I'll get to all this later. Let's get to the big mistake. And then I'll get into the government told us a date they think they're going to arrest. They told us what the next witnesses are. The prosecution is holding their witnesses and how long their case is going to take close to the trial. I'll tell y'all about all that later. Let's get into this, right? Okay, here's the thing. Okay, so Maureen called me, jumped up and baby, she was hot. And she's like, Your Honor, if I may. And he was like, go ahead, counselor, right? Oh my God, Najma Brown said, congratulations on your success. Thank you. You're doing an excellent job. Hold on, I'm missing. Okay, let me tell the story, then I'll get right to the super chats. But let me just get through the story because we got a lot to talk about, you guys. I think this is it. I think Diddy is really done. And I'm so glad that it looks like justice is going to be served. I kind of feel bad for Tini Garagos. This is if the judge grants the order, but it looks like it is, all right? So Maureen Comey jumped up and she was like, Your Honor, we believe a door has been opened by, Your Honor, this is the way she goes. She always leans to the side. Your Honor, we believe a door, and she's speaking into the microphone, all right? Your Honor, we believe a door has been opened by defense counselors on cross-examination. They directly questioned the immunity received, and then she quoted, you said, who decides who's telling the truth? Prosecutors? We believe that she was implying that Jane changed her testimony to go along with what the prosecutors were saying to avoid jail time at some point. We believe this opened the door, and we believe that we want things. We believe that we now have a right to bring in her notes. Her notes are literally like her digital diary, right? And now, here's the thing. She said, we want to bring in all notes that Jane had before November 2024. And I said, oh, right? Now, here's the thing. At that time, Tini Garagos was still at the podium where they questioned the witness. The witness and the jury had gone. Okay, so this is the thing. She was still at the thing. She started like rubbing her hands just a little bit and twitching, which is weird because Tini Garagos is usually so composed. She was twitching, she was rubbing her hands, and I said, you know what? I think she actually made a mistake, okay? And then I was like, yo, I think this is actually really, really big, right? Again, I literally was like, yo, they just made a major mistake because Tini was like at the thing, just looking. They didn't want those notes admitted. And yo, it seems like Jane was talking mad-ish in those notes, okay? Now, she said that, so then the defense jumps up, right? And he was like, Your Honor, in November 2024, she was aware of the settlement, right? Jane was aware of the settlement that Cassie had gotten, right? And the government investigation actually began at that point of November 2024, right? And they said that, and there was a government immunity order. So why do they get to admit new notes? Because they could admit anything before 2023, right? However, Maureen Comey was like, Your Honor, they are literally trying to say that a witness is only saying this because she had a motive that the government gave her immunity in November of 2024. However, and you're saying you're parroting what the government said. Your Honor, however, if we can show these notes from the November 2023 to November 2024, we believe 100% that it will show that it's impossible you're parroting what the government wants you to say because you were saying all these things and more before you knew about the federal investigation, before you knew about what the government wanted. You were 100% doing that. So what's going on, Your Honor? Why would that happen? Again, right? Listen, so then they were like, the defense was like, Your Honor, any additional statements they can rebut any additional statements they can rebut on redirect. There's no way to bring in these notes from 2020, from 2023 to 2024, okay? And get this, I know Jane was talking mad crap. Why is there so many police officers around? That's certainly odd. Oh, more protests. Okay, right? Anyway, I was like, who's swatting me right now? Anyway, right? Again, Tini was nervous. Maureen Comey hit her with the, Your Honor, we want E331 NOKLAMP. We want it all admitted, right? Right? The defense jumps up. Your Honor, this is preposterous. You don't need this. It's extraneous. It's even 403. It has no merit. Maureen hit them with the what? She was like, What? She was going in on it. She was like, Your Honor, this is 100% relevant. They were still in a relationship. They were still in the whole storm. The conduct was still in question since they were still in the heartland of this relationship, okay? The probative value weighs heavy. She said, Your Honor, if there was no relationship anymore and she's just talking trash into her voice notes, maybe that's something that shouldn't be brought up. But she was deep in the relationship, still in the heartland. So you cannot, so these are her thoughts and recollections as recorded to her, how she felt in the relationship. Again, everybody's getting nervous. Shapiro's leaned over to Brian. Shapiro's leaned over to Brian Still. Diddy is looking at Tinny. Tinny is just fidgeting at the podium. It was not good. You never want to open a door, and they 100% opened the door, right? Get this. She said especially because there is no record that Jane was trying to paper the file. Paper the file, I guess, is lawyer slang for you're literally trying to, after you know lawsuits happening, you try to get evidence after the fact in. Paper the file, right? Like, all of a sudden you start taking notes and they were so mean to you, but prior to a $1 billion lawsuit, you never made any complaints, right? She said there's no record that she was trying to paper the file. There was no basis at all for them to even imply that prosecution was making her say anything, right? So anyway, Mark Agnifilio gets up, and that's when I said, oh, they worried. He was like, Yana, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to double team, because, you know, it was so much that Maureen Comey was on the ones and twos, getting it, Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor. And like they were literally popping up the defense like whack-a-moles because they wanted to speak. They all had something. They were super worried, right? And so Mark Agnifilio told her, like, Your Honor, I didn't mean to make it seem like it was a double team because I was standing up. And I said, Mark, is double team the words you should really be using in this type of trial? I'm just saying, choose your words better, because the visual with that man sitting next to you, yeah, we already got the visual of Shaq, Kobe, and who did they say? I know he kept LeBron's name out of this, right? But I'm sure it's like, do you really want that visual of double team? We already got Shaq, Kobe, and Michael Jordan. We don't need to think about any more double teaming or anything in this case, right? Anyway, she said that. Hold on, you guys. So she said that. I'm going to get to the super chats. I'm going to get into. I'm going to get into the super chats in a second, okay? Right? She's like, so Matt Curtin comes up and tries to do his little voodoo. He's like, Your Honor, right? The government is trying to say that she's basically a co-conspirator, and that's why this should be admitted. Well, the truth is, Your Honor, she never was. She didn't think she was going to be prosecuted. Not under the Mann Act, not for the drug testimony, not for anything. So then Judge Aaron literally jumps in and he was like, okay, because this is what he does. He asks questions, like he tests their argument and says like the devil's advocate thing. He said, okay, well, hold on, counselor, because what do you mean that she never thought she would be prosecuted? Seriously, why would they offer her immunity? There's stuff under the Mann Act, which is the RICO Act of prostitution, and also the drug testimony that she literally was a drug mule. So why would you think that Jane doesn't think that she's actually going to be prosecuted? Like it's a real thing. If I was Jane, I would think so, right? Now I'm paraphrasing that at the end, but he did say, I'm not sure she was never in any danger of being prosecuted, right? And listen, so she said, listen, also I wrote down, why would the government, and then he tried to make it seem like the government was suggesting that their own witness couldn't be trusted. And I was like, why would the government suggest that to their own witness that they can't be trusted and that they were being paid off? It makes no sense, right? Again, Judge Aaron jumped in and said, if what you're saying is true, that all this is just a misinterpretation and you guys would never do this and that, why did you even bring it up about the immunity? And why did you ever even make a grandstand about who decides whether you're telling the truth? And she's like, the court? No, who decides whether you're telling the truth? The court? No, the government. The government decides on whether or not you're telling the truth and whether or not you're going to jail. Again, it was clear what they were suggesting. I think they thought they got that one off, but maybe they went too far. Anyway, right? Listen, Mark, I can feel it. Your Honor, this is just a simple agreement that everybody goes through. And the government expresses itself the way it wants. But it's perfectly normal in trial that people would also suggest that. And he starts bringing up case law. And I'm like, nah. They got you, right? Marine Comey jumps up again. And they are double teaming, and she is still what, right? She literally jumps up and she was like, Your Honor, and every time she starts doing that little gangster lean to the side, speaking into the microphone, you know she is about to get crunk. That's her thing. Whatever she knows, like, I got them. She gets a little, right? So she's like, Your Honor, and she said it with so much force. She's like, Your Honor, Mr. Agnifilio has just given up the game. I said, oh, you tell me, girl, how? Mr. Agnifilio has just given up the game. This is exactly what he had just told us, what they sought to do with that testimony. They sought to include this testimony to imply that Jane changed her testimony in order to be lockstep in what the government does, what the government wanted to testify to, in order to, see, learn, in order to, right, make sure that, I know you know where I'm going, class, in order to make sure that she avoids all jail time and she avoids all consequences, and maybe she even gets a civil trial and profits from this, okay? She changed her testimony to be in line with what the government said. Your Honor, that is why we 100% need those messages from November 2023 to November 2024, so we can show you that she is not changing her testimony. Hey, what's up, darling? How you doing? Hold on, let me say hi to my favorite. See you guys. See you, Al.
I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to see you in the pen now.
I know. I'm in the pen state, not in trouble. I'm going to call you tonight.
Okay, sounds
all right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking for, today was such a short day.
Yes.
I miss everybody.
Exactly.
I'm trying to find everybody.
Okay, no problem. I'll catch up with you, okay? Marie, ABC. Shout out to the best makeup artist in the world, Marie, from ABC. She got me right. Thank you so much. So listen, and a happy birthday to Marie too. Anyway, right? She literally said, that was another commercial break, okay? Hold on. So these are my coworkers. I have to talk to them. Okay, so listen. So she was like, he's given up the game. And what he is trying to imply is that she changed. That is why we need these notes. And these are the notes they've been fighting to get in. Because this is what she saw and observed for that whole year while he was still acting a fool. And we need those notes to prove that we didn't tell her to say a M at the mother effing thing. She was the one that put this on the plate. She was the one that did this. She was the one. And I said, got him. When I say Diddy's team was losing their mind, now here's the thing. Judge Aaron did say, okay, I'm gonna have to take a look at the transcript and I'll decide on this tomorrow. Baby, they got them. Tina Garagos looks like she opened the door to Diddy's worst nightmare. Whatever, and I mean whatever, is in those notes is so damning. It's so damaging. It's so bad for Diddy that they were fighting tooth and nail to keep them out. And had they not just did that last throwaway thing, suggesting that the government was literally threatening jail time in order to make people paint him as a monster, it never would have happened. Baby, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? God, who thought? God did. He put his finger on the scale and said, oh no. But you guys, there was so much more stuff that happened in the court too. Hold on really quick. Let me just take a commercial break and read these super chats. It's only going to take a second. And then we are going to get right back into this mess, okay? Miss Allison, I'm so proud of you. I love learning so much from you. I love showing up in class, got my pen and pad ready, set, go. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Miss Al. Okay, let me get to the top. All right. Okay, where are we? Ray J. If Diddy had one wish, Here's the thing I do want to say with Diddy. If Diddy had just treated Jane nicer, better, or with respect, he wouldn't even been in this problem right now. But he still chose to be a damn monster. And finally, the consequences of his actions are catching up to him. Anyway, Najma Brown said, congratulations on your success. You are doing an excellent job. Star Jones got her fame from the OJ trial. Now Tisa gets her star from the Diddy trial. I watch every day sending support so you can continue doing your hard work. Oh, Najma. Or Naja Brown. Thank you so much. Big fans of Star Jones. She did her thing and she's still doing it. Lily Rose, what's up? Welcome to the family. Miss Duco, thank you for the super chat. Margaret Hernandez, thank you so much. Sharon Richardson, welcome to the fam. Life Lessons in Lions said, great job. KK need to be put on the stand. Agree? I 100% agree. Oh, also, we do not believe that KK is going to be a prosecution witness. However, it looks like she might get on the stand for Diddy. We're going to talk about it in a second. Again, a lot happened in court. Ricardine Singleton Brown, thank you so much for the super chat. Nellie Carrion, oh my God, welcome. And welcome for being your first super chat. Amy Jagger said, you're amazing. I check in and follow with you the case every day. Thank you. Breezy said, Tisa, with a client like Diddy, you would constantly have to be off your game. That's okay because we all have your back. Unlike Diddy, we love you. Thank you so much. Brandy Sessions said, we're so proud of you. Thank you. AW, thank you for the super chat. James Johnson said, thanks, Tisa. Keep up the great work. Holla. Thank you, James. How's the glam? What's up, girl? What's up? Jamie said, do you think Teenie was off yesterday and today is because of something of Jane's story hits home, or she did it for the money and realized that this ain't it? Honestly, I really don't understand what was off with Tinny, but there's something off. Now, here's the thing I was thinking. You know how they said that Tinny and Jane, right? You know, you think that Jane was, if she was around the defense team, right? And this is just me thinking as a woman. Diddy is a lot. Right? Diddy is a lot. And you never know. Tinny could have been up there complaining to Jane about Diddy. I don't know. You know, like your community, because just don't forget that Jane's been up under them since April. So I don't know. Listen, I have a theory about that. We'll talk about that later. But I'm going to have to put that in a recorded video, okay? Angel Limbs, thank you. Angel Jims, thank you so much for the super chat. Allison, thank you. James Johnson said, also, girl, you look great. Yeah, thank Marie. Katie Gallagher said, Tisa, what's your zodiac? My guess is Leo. I know everybody think I'm Leo. No, I am not a Leo, even though I love Leos, but I am not a Leo. But I get along with Leos really well. Honeybee Therapy, thank you so much for the super chat. Megan said, you're truly an amazing and beautiful woman. Congrats. Oh, thank you. Melinda Smith, welcome to the fam. B. Dizzle said, I just heard you're going to be on Spatable Friday. I'm there. I've been there since it started. Hell yeah. Hail Mary. Yes. Y'all join me on Spatable Friday for a town hall. You can ask me questions. I'll give you my inside tea. I'll do stuff that I can't do on YouTube. It's going to be fun. Allison said, girl, I casually dated Diddy's employee starting in 2023 on IG. Diddy follows him. Little Rod KK, I've been watching you for 2 years and you're spot on. Thank you so much, Allison. 413 Print and Press said, Tisa, I live in Massachusetts. I'll be there the 27th, sitting in line at 3 a.m. I sent you an email. I can save you a spot. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. 413 Print and Press. Miss Al said, oh my God, thank you for gifting a membership. Also, Natosh said, congratulations on your collaborations and features. We're all waiting on the Tisa Tales and Stephanie Sue Rotten Mango mashup. Keep growing and going. I would love to get on with Rotten Mango, but baby, she is big time. She don't got time for little old me. But shout out to Rotten Mango, Armand Wiggins, Good Logic, Mel watching the world. Shout out to everybody out here actually doing their thing and doing what they can to actually amplify things. You know, shout out to the people in the trenches. Also, Brandy Sashington said, Team T. Oh, and also, do y'all know that lovely Ty, is it Ty or T? Y'all know I got dyslexia. I've been calling her lovely Ty for lovely T was here. Well, she still is here. But I met lovely T in person, and she is so nice, so beautiful. She is everything that you see. Oh my God. Lovely T, you already know about her. She is the OG and still dominating the game. You know, she's been actually covering this too, so shout out to Lovely T as well. Go ahead and support. Her Discord is mwah, chef's kiss. Go ahead and give some support, even though y'all probably been like, Tisa, you're the new one on here. Lovely T is the OG, okay? But thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. And she said, Tisa, we're so proud of you. Keep shining. Alfonso Wesley, thank you so much for the super chat. Also, the Shepherd Pie said, paying for SMEX, even if it's consensual, it's called SMEX work. Paying for SMEX by fraud, coercion, and debt bondage is called SMEX trafficking. Thank you. Both are illegal, and it's a crime in the U.S. except Nevada. Jane Doe rent is debt bomb. Still a crime. My Shepherd Pie. Let me read this comment again before we get back into what else happened in court. Paying for SMEX, even if it's consensual, is called SMEX work. Paying for SMEX by fraud, coercion, and debt bondage is called SMEX trafficking. Both are illegal, and it's a crime in every state in the U.S. except Nevada. Jane Doe's rent is debt bond. It is still a crime. I know that's right. Lady C. Kohler, right? Lady C. Kohler said, don't fall victim to major news networks. They will censor you. Stay independent. Don't be controlled. Work with, not for. Baby, Lady C, I work for y'all. No, let me stop saying that because some of y'all really be acting like I'm an employee. But I agree with you, baby. You know we are always going to stay in a space and work for ourselves and stay in a place where we can honestly say what we want to say. Okay, we ain't changing our opinion for no one. Anya, but thank you so much, Lady C. Kohler. Ania, 7. Thank you so much for the super chat. Linda, listen, welcome to the family. Stacey Watkins, thank you for the chat. Arlene S. said, thank you for keeping us updated while at work. I enjoyed listening to your daily updates. Thank you so much. We're almost done with this commercial break. Beauty for you 132. Thank you so much for the super chat. Zandria Roberts said, Yana, double tap the screen, y'all. Yana, Diddy did it. Miss Calde said, love you so much, girl, and I'm proud of the support, all that you do. Thank you so much. Sheila B, thank you so much for the super chat. Sabrina, thank you. Harold Copples, congratulations on everything. Thank you. Stacy Belcher, thank you so much for the super chat. Angel Jim said Diddy is going down. First ever super chat. He is. Jessica, right? Still going. B Dizzle said, I put a message out on Spoutable about you so people can follow you and your content. Thank you. Keep grinding. I will, be Dizzle. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Next Dog said, isn't it within the realm of possibility that KK is the last federal witness before they arrest her case? You know what? They did say they were still trying to coordinate travel. So I'll be honest with you, even based off of what we know, it is possible within the realm of possibility that KK still might be. And I would be shocked. I would be gagged, but baby, I would be there for it. So listen, Next Dog, I hope you're right. Carmen Cita Rodriguez, thank you so much for the super chat. And Empress of Alchemy said, Tisa, it really makes my heart smile seeing you in your zone and bringing the real updates. Thank you. And Dory P said, you're doing an amazing job with so much heart. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Okay, so listen, let me get back to what happened in court because it was so good. Okay, hold on really quick. Okay, so what else happened? After they completely messed up, a few other things happened, right? So hold on, I took notes, 1 second. Also, you know Diddy's team is mad. They just put in a motion saying that they demand that Bonner testify again. Nah. It's too late. Miss M, thank you so much. You said to the other side is waiting for that ninja. I know that's right. No. They're trying to get Bonner to come back and testify. If y'all don't get out of here with that mess, they are ridiculous. As Frostafari said, do Diddy have any heroes or blank? Because all of them different people, I don't know. And actually, I would be scared that those girls, you were making them put their life at risk and they were putting their life at risk. And people don't think that's a form of SMEX trafficking. You think a woman is willing to do that? Yo, anyway, my renewal, Be Your Transform said, hope they're calling another expert. We need it. I hope they're calling another expert too, but I don't think they are. But I hope they are. Goddess with Pain. Goddess of Pain, WPW said, saw you on Nancy Grace, girl. You're not small time no more. Keep growing stronger. Love your stuff. Oh, thank you guys. Okay, so let's get into this, right? Um, okay. Okay, so they're going to call someone named, the prosecution is calling somebody named Ananga Sankar, somebody named Andre. Ananga Sankar is going to be a summary witness. They said the government says that they expect, oh, thank you. Who just gave me a cash app? I missed it. I missed it. Thank you for that. Cash app, I missed your name. Okay, but I'll get back to it before I go, okay? They said the government is going to arrest by either next Friday or Wednesday. Hold on really quick, you guys. Hold on. Shahar, thank you so much for the cash app. And Dwayne Miller, thank you for joining the family. But Shahar, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I had to go get that. Also, FG said, are you a journalist? Do you have a 9-to-5 job? FG? No, FG. No, FG. Like, all this? No, no, I just do this for fun. Anyway, I literally spend all day for fun, right? I don't know what I am. I know I'm on Nancy Grace. I know I'm on ABC Live. I know I'm on Nightline. I know I've been featured on Nancy Grace several times. I've been written up by the Hollywood Reporter. I wrote an op-ed for the Hollywood Reporter. I'm on YouTube making mingerie. So I don't know what I am, but I know I'm doing my damn thing. So anyway, right? But thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking. I didn't want to roll off my resume. Oh, I'm also featured in the Diddy doc and the BBC Diddy doc and maybe a few other Diddy docs. I also have a few projects coming up that I can't tell you guys about. So thank you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to toot my own horn, if you will. All right? Now clock that. Anyway, let's get into this. Brenda Glass, thank you so much for the super chat. Anyway, they said, so the prosecution said next Friday, oh wait, I'm sorry, Brenda Glass, thank you for joining the family. So anyway, next Friday, they said no later than next Friday, not this Friday, but next Friday, the government is going to rest their case. They might actually rest it on Wednesday, right? They said that they are cutting additional witnesses and they are confident they will be done. You guys, the cutting major witnesses is a signal that even though all the pundits all over are saying, I don't see Rico, the witnesses don't seem strong enough. I don't know. I think by the government signaling that they are cutting additional witnesses, that is signaling that they are so confident that they have proven their case that they don't need to play around no more and they're ready to go home and go to sleep. And they're going to be sitting there looking at the defense like, you got 2 to 4 weeks to wrap this puppy up. Y'all, that is a signal that no matter what the people on the media think, social media, the people at your neighborhood pet store, I don't know, that the government feels confident of all their experience that they have 100% proven their case, okay? Now get this. So then the judge goes over to Mark Actifilio and was like, okay, so what are y'all doing? Like, I need to tell the jurors. So I want to give them an idea. He did say, no pressure. If you don't know, that's fine, but put it on your thing that we need to know when you think you're going to wrap it up, right? And he was like, well, Yana, until we know what the government's doing, we're going to have to make adjustments to our case. You don't have to make adjustments to your case, but why are they cutting witnesses? What's the problem, right? Like, they're like, Yana, I need to get a sense of who the government will cut, right? I'm also going to need a summary of exhibits, right? And the prosecution was like, no problem, Your Honor. We'll meet and confer. It's fine. Whatever the defense needs, we got them. We're here for them. I said, if this ain't a show, right? If this is, if this isn't a show of confidence, I don't know what is. They also said, so then the government popped up and they're like, well, Your Honor, we also need 26.2 material provided to the government. That's the witness list. That's the list of exhibits. That's what they're actually going to do, is when the defense lays out their whole. And they're like, and we want, Your Honor, to make sure that the defense gives it to us. Because again, we're saying we're ending by Wednesday or next Wednesday or next Friday. So we want to make sure we actually get this, right? And also, yeah, so that is it. Listen, the government is positive that they have 100% proven their case. They are positive, you know? They are positive, okay? Listen, they're positive. So much stuff happened. I will say one thing. Gina was all up and through that testimony, right? I put a question mark. It's like, Gina, how is Gina and everybody's story a problem? B. Will said, Tisa, you're awesome. Thank you for all the facts. Thank you, B. Will. Well, how is Gina, Goddess of Pain, did I already say thank you, WPW? Welcome to the family, mama. Also, James Johnson said, Tisa, is Natanya Rubin going to testify? Thank you, dog. So listen, the government said they're cutting a lot of witnesses. So maybe she was on the witness list and they're cutting her, but there are people that they had slated to actually testify that they are cutting. Again, this is a major signal that the government is confident in their case. Blue Guys and Butterflies, welcome to the family. Confident that they are proven. Again, like I said, you don't got to listen to me, right? Julio, thank you for being a member for 20 more months. Said, hail, sister, and covering you in positive energy and love. Oh, thank you so much, Julio. And FG said, well, you're amazing. Very well done. I'm impressed and subscribing now. Thank you, FG. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, FG. So listen, right? Hold on. Julio, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. And hold on really quick. B, thank you for the super chat. Okay, so listen. They said that, so get this, right? Gina is a problem. Every witness on there has said that Gina is a problem, right? Now here's the problem, right? Was Gina also doing freak-offs? Katie Gallagher said, so you're gonna make me keep doing your super chats to answer my question, LOL. So what is your sign? You're moving on up. Great job at AG Proud. Listen, maybe that will be my Easter egg to get y'all to come and listen to me on Spotify. I mean, Spoutable, not Spotify. They're in the dumps. Anyway, Joy Angeline. But I'll tell y'all in a second. Let me just get to this. Joy Angeline said, it's scary that the prosecution is so confident. Do you think the jury will also be sensitive to that case? See you, Mel. Get home safely. All right. Nicole Matson, thank you so much for the super chat. And Kim M said, did I miss what happened to juror number 6? So here's the thing. James Johnson said, Mimi loved the Tattletale family. Thank you, James Johnson. And Nest Dog said, shouldn't the feds call up puppy security? No, I think they're cutting witnesses for whatever thing. So let's get into it about the feds. It's scary that they're so confident. You realize that feds, they know when they've proven their case. And I do want to say with federal prosecution cases, unlike what we see and what we think is, the law is a dance, and as long as you know the moves to the dance, you are going to win the dance off. It's actually, if I was Diddy's team, I would be very, very worried that the government is so strong. The government also has people that watch juries. The government also knows the law, and they also know the bounds in which the jury can testify. The fact that they feel so confident they won their case is a signal that what I've been saying in my analysis, and listen, I'm not God. It could come and be a nullification jury, a hung jury. I don't think it's going to be a not guilty, right? But it goes on to say, Nest Dog said, shouldn't the feds call up? Listen, I will say that Dot Against It, when will you know about Juror 6? I'm about to tell y'all in a second, all right? Listen, a TMZ expert went from Diddy isn't a man in episode 2. I talked to Diddy and he has changed in episode 5. Looks like Tisa calls it again. Exactly. And Kowalski said, if this had been threesomes with other SMEX workers who were women, do you think this would have surfaced? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually think there would be more sympathy. Michelle Elliott said, do you think I don't know if they'll get pardoned. And Angeline Chirillo, thank you so much for the super chat. So the point of the matter is, I've been saying all along that even though people don't really see it, they have that mofo dead to rights. They have proven their case over and over again. Diddy's team is very, very worried, as they should be worried. I would be worried too. The fact that they are so, you guys have to know that they also have experience, and they also talk to the senior people. They are senior, but they talk to the whole SDNY and all of the U.S. prosecutors. They all convene and convey, and everybody is saying, yeah, given what we know about juries, yeah, it looks like. Okay, now somebody could nullify. So there could be a mistrial, but all a mistrial means is he stays in jail and then they bring it up all over again. You guys, again, say what you want, but the government is now proving what I've been screaming off of the rooftops for the last 3 or 4 weeks. They got them. They got them. Anyway, right? Juror number 6. So The defense wants juror number 6 to stay. The prosecution wants him gone, probably because the prosecution, anything that the defense asks for, the prosecution is like, hell no, get them out of there. Oh, you want this? No. You want Christmas? Christmas is canceled, right? Because why would you want something that your enemy is like, oh, I don't care, let them stay on, okay? Juror number 6, and just to let you guys know, I'm saying him, but nobody knows who he is. I was informed the other day that like all the jurors have different numbers. So even though they're lined up, you just can't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nobody truly knows who juror number 6 is because they mix them up so that when you say juror number 6, somebody in the second row who should be juror number 8 could actually stand up. That's why I'm saying it could be him, it could be her. I would say they, but I always just say he is the default, right? Could be an E, who could be a C. The issue with juror number 6 is I thought there was something between Diddy nodding and like this juror number 6. But again, all the legal people I talked to said, Tisa, calm down, right? You know me, lights and fancy. They were like, if it was anything improper like that, like legally wrong, I mean, I say legally, like jury tampering, this and that, you know 100%. The judge wouldn't ask the prosecution and the defense, do you want to keep them? The judge would get them out of there. Plus there might be, there would be legal action, there might be jail time. It could be a lot of that, right? They said probably the reason why the defense is saying is it's something with paperwork. It's something where maybe they found out something like that. Not enough to get any type of legal action, but enough that if the prosecution thinks that juror is not going to be favorable, they might petition to get them ejected. The prosecution just wrote their letter, I think, to Judge Aaron yesterday on why they think juror number 6 is going to go. I do not believe that Judge Aaron has ruled on it. It will be ruled under seal to protect anonymity and the sanctity of the trial. However, today we came in and all the same jurors were there. Now tomorrow, if there's something missing, then that's a different thing. Tomorrow, if there's something missing, see ya, get home safely. Tomorrow, if there's something missing, then that someone missing, y'all know you'll be the first to say. However, that is what's going on with these freak-offs. Anyway, listen, Gina's name was all up and down there. Was Gina having freak-offs? Because they tried to play Jane and be like, is it not true that sometimes he said, don't worry about the freak-offs? But I was like, but wait, we're all forgetting something. According to his assistant, Diddy was having hotel nights with, see ya, good logic, see ya. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can get you in if they can hear.
Yes.
What's your take on this?
You're not going to be happy with me.
Okay,
You're
go
not
on.
going to be happy with me.
All right, let's go.
All
I'm
right.
not. He's going to say something pro Diddy, but go on.
I'm not going to say something pro Diddy.
Okay.
What I'm going to say is this. I crystallize a lot more, and the people I'm sitting around in the alternative jury room, which I call the viewing room, a lot of them crystallized. Where I'm at on Jane is she helped convince me that Cassie was trafficked, but that she was not. And I'll explain to you why.
Okay.
I want to explain to you the logic behind why it is that after today, I've been convinced, and I believe Jane. I believe her story. I believe pretty much everything she said. There's very few things that she said I don't believe, okay?
Okay.
I trust this woman. I just think what she's describing is not really trafficking. And you can see a big difference, and you'll agree with me this, that Cassie's treatment, and this is not to say that Diddy's not a monster. He treated her like dog crap. He was terrible to that woman. I feel awful for what he did to her. I just don't think it's trafficking. Because she described today, she did a synopsis of what her relationship with Diddy was. She said, we have a hotel night, which is those crazy freak-offs that she says she hates, and I believe she hated them, okay?
Yeah.
The defense wants to think she didn't hate them. I think she hated them, okay? She would have this awful thing that she would do to please my lover, please my partner, which is the language she uses all the time. Then a day later, 2 days later, he'd see her off on some trip or buying some present for some other girlfriend, and she'd get angry. And then she would say to him, and then she would express that anger, and then he'd be like, well, if you don't like it, leave. And she'd leave, and then his people would call and pester her, and she would come on back.
Counselor,
Am I talking too long?
No, Counselor, if I could just interject. We're going to need a timeline on this because all good stories need a timeline. Mm-hmm. And she is talking about the first 2 years of the relationship. Actually, the first year of the relationship. We're still in 2021. We haven't gotten into 2022, and we haven't gotten into 2023.
Well,
So when
today
you're
she went
saying
through 2023. Today
they jumped into 23 and then they jumped out of it.
I don't know.
They
started
jumped
going
in.
through different freak offs. We heard all about the Valentine's Day of 2022, Valentine's Day 2023, how different they were from each other. So we were getting some stuff from what happened over the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
she's describing that basically she would walk. And then he would pester her, and she get phone calls and
But
texts.
how are you looking over literally the violence that occurred and when he forced her to
Yeah,
take
I
the
thought about
thing?
that. I thought
So
about
it's
that.
like you're saying
I
all
thought
this
about
stuff,
that.
but we just
I thought about that. Trust
Okay,
me. I've thought
okay,
and
okay.
that was the one day that I sort of wanted to look at, right?
Yeah.
But I need to be convinced beyond a reasonable
So
doubt.
you think that a woman was getting trains ran on her that were so painful
She hated them.
that she was running
Hated them.
and you think that she was doing that for a relationship and 10,000 a month?
I think
Constantly to the point of
do you
throwing
think
up?
she loves him today? Even to
What's
this
that?
day. Do you think she still loves him?
I believe she still loves him, but just from a woman and controlling and having. So you think that a woman?
horrible person.
You think no, it's not a horrible person. You think a woman was choosing to sleep with prostitutes without protection on her body, getting horrible UTIs, getting beat up, and getting trains ran on her so bad that she couldn't even recover. You think that she's doing that because of love,
Why
or
do
do
you-
you think it's something more?
No, I think it was out of love.
I think it's sex
I think
trafficking.
She would say, I think
You
she
think
would
that's
say
out
it's
of love?
She said it's out of love.
Okay,
she said it's
but
to please
most-
my partners. That's what
Okay,
it's
but
her
when
words.
you talk to most prostitutes, and when you talk to most victims of sex trafficking,
Okay.
they are in love with the person.
Okay.
They think they're helping their boyfriend. They think they're helping their pimp. They think that the pimp protects them, and they're the ones that the only way to get bills. He got a bad leg. He got a bad back. He can't go to work. I just know as a woman, there is no way that you have me sleeping with escorts, and they are brutalizing me to the point I'm throwing up with no protection.
Terrible.
I just, and also people keep thinking of that 10,000 a month. I don't think it's a price you can get me to sleep with a
10,000
hooker.
a month is nothing to
But
me.
this is my whole
That's-
point. The fact that you think that a woman in a relationship for love will put herself in danger. Maybe it might be a divide between women and men. Maybe men. I don't know.
I don't know if you can even call it love, though. Tisa, think about this. This is a woman who 2 days after he physically was choking her and beating her, went back to him because saying on the stand, she said, because I missed him too much. This
Yeah,
is
but
not
what do
a
you think?
healthy type
But
of love.
it's not a healthy type of love. But again,
So you're
does
describing
love?
what you would do in a healthy love.
No, I don't. Does love excuse domestic violence? If the
No.
person, okay, so if love doesn't excuse domestic violence, then why would it excuse this? You keep saying because she's in love. My thing is, you're like, she's in love, period. My thing is, she's in love, but so what? Yes, love covers all of it. However, what you did was illegal, and it doesn't matter whether the person loved you or not. It actually makes it sicker that they loved you.
Let me ask you this: what part of it? Because I look at it as a lawyer. I look at the elements of the
Okay.
crime. Okay, so he has to know he's forcing her against her will.
She already knows that. There's a million messages they have where she's like, no, I don't want to do this. You tricked me. You lied to me. Had I known, I never would have. You lied to me. You're a liar. Even when he was forcing the pills down her throat, she was screaming, no, I don't want to. And by the way, for all this long cross-examining, the defense has still not push back on the notion that he forced her to take drugs and have a freak off. You really think a woman who is not in being mentally abused and trafficked after they get beaten to a pulp will cover up their bruises with makeup and then go and have a freak off?
Let me ask you this: why did they break up?
What do you mean?
That night that happened, June 18th, where she told over that story that we were the first 100 people to ever hear. No one knew this story as the whole beating that he did, right?
Well, we knew it from the opening arguments.
But we didn't know anything about the details as to what
Okay,
happened.
fair enough.
And it's not like it was public fodder either. Supposedly, the prosecutors first heard about this in April, 2
Okay.
months ago, right?
Okay.
He ended up leaving her because he said, I can't look at you because you're broken to me.
Yes,
right?
that is something.
This is a weird relationship.
It's not. It's some Detroit pimp stuff. It's Romeo pimp thing. If you read on the Romeo pimp and the way they groom women, this is cut and favored. Even when they beat you up and they do things horrible and they all of a sudden, what they do is, and most likely because they have a new victim, they tell you you're broken, you're dirty. Because you did this, I can never be with you again. But then what did he do? He still kept her on the stream. He was still communicating, and then he got back with her. They were still in a relationship.
I'll explain. Let me explain to you why he's guilty with Cassie.
April Nettis, I will not let the lawyer talk. This is my channel. You can leave if you don't like it. This is my channel, April. You can leave, but thank you for your comment.
Let me explain to you what the difference is between her and Cassie. Okay, with Cassie, I can point to certain freak-offs she engaged in, which was right after he blackmails her. And
Terrell, you can leave too. Go on.
I'm just telling you what, as looking at the law, okay? He has to be forcing her. And if I'm going to be convicting, throwing him away in jail for doing things, I have to be looking at things that are criminal, way different than what a relationship you or I would ever be in. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. If we're going to be convicting someone for that, in that case, I want to be able to point to at least one day, one freak off that I'm like, she did that because I know without beyond a reasonable doubt that she was compelled to do that particular freak off. I could do that with Cassie. I can give you examples. When they fly back from Nice to France and he's showing the video of her on there, and then that night they go to a freak off. To me, she felt compelled. I can point to the beatings and the different and so many different times, the Intercontinental, where he's punching her in the face in the middle of a freak off. This tells me that this is a woman who, she tries to run away. Her boyfriend, Kid Cudi, ends up getting threatened, and she gets blackmailed that she's going to be exposed. This is a woman who I can point to different events and say, that's compulsion.
Okay.
We don't have anything like that.
Okay, can I say
do you
this?
agree with me? We don't have anything on that level.
I do not agree with you, because here's the thing. You keep talking about sex trafficking as if there's only one component. By force. There is coercion, and there is also fraud. Can you please explain to me what sex trafficking, but fraud is, if it wasn't what we heard here?
That's a great question. No, it's a great question. It's a great question.
Fraud.
What I would tell you, what I would think is fraud. You want to ask me just in the abstract, come up with a case.
No. According to the factors of the law.
If a puffy impersonator basically said, I'm Puffy, have sex with me, and have sex with those other people, that would be fraud.
No. I'm talking about under the Sex Trafficking Act. They actually have, what is it? It is convincing them that they are in a romantic relationship. It is promising them anything. We can pull it up on ChatGPT, pull it up. It's promising them anything of value.
I wouldn't do my legal research on ChatGPT.
Well, pull it up on Cornell law. My point is, we have looked it up, the prosecutors did it. Fraud is even promising a relationship or anything that the victim deems of value, such as a relationship, such as quality time, such as anything that is of value to the victim. You do not get to think what is of value, because then it gets into, well, I would never do it for this. Okay, fine.
Right.
But to you, being in that relationship is not a value, but to her, it was everything. Again, I think people are forgetting the coercion and the fraud part about sex trafficking. And I believe, and listen, when he comes on my channel, we're going to hash it out too. Okay? Yes.
I'm going to do research for you.
Yes, he's going to do research.
On this fraud
yes.
On the fraud element here.
And the coercion, but definitely the fraud.
The fraud and the coercion.
Okay.
I'm going to look at
now,
it. I think blackmail's coercion. I think that's
well,
coercion.
definitely. But and he did. But let me just ask this really quick, right? Just to switch gears a little bit, because this is the original question I want to ask you. What's your opinion about the prosecution resting their case?
Well, they're supposed to.
Hi. Have comments?
Yeah, I was also.
We'll have a three.
Sounds so interesting. You mind?
Yeah, please jump in. But really quick, while he's joining us, what is your opinion on the prosecution resting early?
I think that if the prosecution is resting early, that means one of two things. They're either very confident, or they're worried that whoever they're planning on bringing might kibosh someone who they brought earlier. For example, we saw where Bana, her testimony, and when they had that Perry Mason moment where she basically said, they showed forensic evidence that she wasn't there, and that she couldn't have been injured on the day that she said she was injured. The defense wants to use that to impugn the credibility of Cassie. And I believed Cassie, but I do think that they want to say that Cassie and her friends are working in cahoots with each other. And here's Bana, who everyone knows lied. In fact, the judge
lied?
That not Cassie, that Bana lied.
What did she lie about?
Do you remember when they pulled up that he was in the Trump Hotel on September 25th?
I know, but this is the whole thing.
All that other stuff?
Yes, but here's my whole thing, and this is why it's good to talk to other people.
Yeah.
Bana Rob Holiday called from Diddy's house 3 days after it happened. Bonna said she was on drugs. She said she might not have things hazy. However, they actually called to settle, and they offered at least $1 million to settle. On top of that, we have Cassie. I know they can't use it, but when you're saying that she lied, I think it's very dangerous to say it was lied when she didn't lie. She just got the date wrong.
Oh,
and
I agree.
yeah.
I think there's a very good chance she just got the date wrong. I agree with you. But she swore under oath that it happened on that day.
No. She did say.
She might be wrong.
No, I get that, but I remember her saying that I was on drugs, so a lot of things are hazy. Now, she didn't say it was approximate, but at the end of the day, you know how I know, though, if the substantial portion of it is truthful, then someone accidentally getting a day wrong.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I agree with you as far as trust and credibility. I'm simply saying that by the time.
Hold on a second. 1 second.
What's the matter?
Nothing.
All right.
Go on.
I'm simply saying that by the time the defense was done with Bonna, she arguably did more damage to Cassie than helping her. Because a lot of people looked at it like, oh my God, this woman was just caught, and that's what she said was not true. And
Okay.
then the defense went further by basically accusing her of formulating stories together with Cassie, which then impugns the level of credibility that the jury may attach to Cassie. That's a reality.
It's a reality, but
a possibility.
It's a
that people
possibility,
take it that way.
but let me just give you a new piece of information. The defense has just filed paperwork to bring Bonna back to testify. If they bring Bonna back to testify, this is an excellent time for the prosecution to somehow focus on, because I feel like they glanced over it, focus on that phone call. They don't have to say what the settlement's for, but to say that there was a call for settlement, or at the very least, let her say that it happened approximately.
So let me be a lawyer for a moment here, and I'll explain to you why it is that settlement discussions are not allowed in a courtroom setting. The logic behind it is that someone, especially a Diddy type of individual, if someone's going to throw a lawsuit at them, it's often much easier for them to just pay them to go away rather than spending $5 million on attorneys to defend it. So I'm not saying it didn't happen. If you ask me, my gun to my head, you say to me, Joe, gun to your head, do I think that there was some incident that happened on the balcony where she was like leaning over at some level? I say to you, I think that almost definitely, yes, something like that happened.
Okay.
But I think something like that happened. But as far as the way she told the story over and whether or not she heard the credibility based on how she told that story over, I think that that's very likely possibility that the jury will say, I don't trust her,
Okay.
and I have questions about Cassie because
Okay, Joe, we're going to have to agree to disagree on that, because I think a man that got his reputation ruined and a grand jury indictment opened because he didn't want to settle with his girlfriend.
Right.
I think a man that got his house raided because he did not want to pay $50,000 to Rodney Jenkins. I think a man that treated Jane Doe like crap and wouldn't even give her certain stuff. Certain stuff because he just, even when he was under federal investigation, thought that he was being cheap. I think there's something to say of with that character actually try to settle for no reason. He's not the type that doesn't go on for the fight. And he has ruined his life from not settling in the past. And let's not forget that Bonna, he didn't settle. And this is when he was at the height of Everybody Loves Diddy.
Right.
So I see what you're saying, but when you take it into the context, I don't think this man was calling to settle with someone for something that didn't happen.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. That's probably true.
Yeah.
But all the stuff you're saying, the point I was getting is that because of that concern, that's why settlement talks are not allowed anywhere near the trial. So the jury's never going to know about this.
We don't need to know about the talk. We just need to know that somebody called and they wanted to. We don't need to know.
They won't let that in.
But it already was on the it was already on her testimony.
They're not supposed to let in anything.
Yeah.
And
Please come in.
An offer of settlement.
Gentlemen, no, not an offer of settlement, but just the fact that he contacted. She was contacted for that purpose, okay, to work it out. And I think that's enough. Why would you contact someone when you're at the height of your fame to get someone to make any offer, even if it's $5, for something that never happened?
Because you know that's going to cost you $3 million
Maybe.
in attorney fees.
Maybe, but I don't know.
And again,
Sir,
I think he probably did something. Although
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you, do you think she was facing him or facing the view when it happened?
I actually think that doesn't care. It's like somebody saying when I got hit by a 4x4, a tractor trailer, was I wearing pink socks on the phone with my mom, or was I talking to my boyfriend? Does it really matter? I got hit by a tractor
No,
trailer.
you were like, why?
Yeah.
You could say that she was on drugs and she imagined the whole thing. That one time she thinks she's like, I distinctly remember him
No.
running at
Okay.
me.
Well,
And the first time she's looking at me
I
and
will
he
just
comes
say
from
this.
behind.
Well, I would just say this. I've actually heard this happen years ago, and it 100% happened. And that
I'm
is
not saying it didn't.
no. But my whole thing is, you're not saying it didn't, but that's why the prosecution needs to find a way to bring in any extraneous evidence to prove the dates. And again, the fact that we have let Diddy's team lead us down a merry road where now we are literally saying because something might have happened on the 22nd instead of the 26th, something might have happened on the, well, it can't happen after the 26th, but something might have happened on the 23rd, 10 years ago instead of the 26th, something might have happened on the 21st instead of the 26th. I think it's laughable. People's memories end. Let's not forget that Cassie's lawsuit that Diddy settled, she said that it happened on a hotel balcony. She said that there were other people there. The fact of the matter is, Bono was hung over the balcony. That's all I'm saying. But really quick, let's actually bring you in, gentlemen. What's your name?
Jack Frost.
Please, come in closer. Let's get you both in frame.
Hey, all of the prettinesses over here.
Okay, so what do you think?
Okay, so let's just talk. I want to start off at the testimony that was given today by Jane Doe.
Okay.
I got a question on it.
Oh, okay, Joe.
I'm
Thank
gonna
you so
let
much.
Jack take over.
Okay.
Are we gonna listen?
Yes.
Tell me if you want me to do the homework, but then I'm gonna really
Listen,
we put
do
something
the
down
homework.
Sunday.
Listen.
If I'm gonna be doing the research on this, I'm gonna want to know that we're gonna
Okay,
actually
do
something
the
Sunday.
homework. We're gonna do it Saturday, Sunday. I'm gonna text you tonight. Okay.
Not Saturday, but Sunday. It's gotta be. I don't work.
Okay, listen. Listen, I'll call you tonight. We'll get you in. We are going to have a thriller in Manila. I will say this. Yeah, we'll have a thriller in Manila, okay? Okay, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay, no problem.
Take care.
Thank you. See you, Joe.
Okay, so let's start with
Yeah.
the testimony that was given
Good
today.
logic. Make sure. Sorry. Good logic on YouTube. Good law. LAW. Dick. Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
we doing that? I'm BBN Network.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Wait. Are you? Wait.
Jack Frost.
Are you part of Manosphere? Do you hate women?
No,
Do you hate
I
women?
Why
Okay.
would I do that?
All right. Oh, come on in. Come on.
Where you
in.
heard that from?
I'm just asking. You
I
gotta
don't
ask.
know who I am. They
You
showed up
listen.
like
You
BBN in the
yeah.
house.
You have to ask these days. Sorry.
No,
so go
I
on,
don't
go
hate
on.
women, but I do think people should be held accountable for their individual actions. Now, today on the stand, I have a problem with some of her testimony. And the problem I have with her testimony is I do think that she left some of the things out that she should have already added. And I think that her testimony actually helped Diddy and not the prosecution. Because what happened was she said a lot of things that she now has to, they had text messages where she was speaking about how much she loved doing these freak offs.
Okay.
Now she's saying she doesn't. Now I agree that she probably never liked doing the freak offs. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna 100% give it to you. She never liked doing no freak offs. What kind of woman would want to do that? I 100% agree that she was in love with this man, and he had a hold over her because sometimes somebody that's in love with you, whether you're a man or whether you're a woman, can have a hold on you. So I 100% agree with that. I'm not trying to discount any of that at all. And I'm gonna also add in there, just so we could be clear, that there was a power dynamic that made it so that she probably felt like when she got with this man, she had to stay with him because anything else would have been moving backwards. And I'm gonna even double down on that by saying that the man that she was with before that gave her the baby.
Wait. We don't know. We do not know. We do not know. We do not know.
Is a celebrity.
We don't
You
know.
lose.
Her baby's father is not a celebrity.
Okay.
She is a regular
She's a
woman.
regular
So
woman. Okay.
we can't take
I'll back-
guesses.
you're right.
We
I'll
can't
back
take
up
guesses.
off of that. I'll back up off of that. The point in which I'm trying to make is this. Women are hypergamous. They date up.
They what?
Y'all date
We
up.
what?
Y'all date up. Like, if you have a man who's doing really, really well, you're not going to leave him for somebody who isn't doing well. I'm not saying... this is just my opinion. I got my opinion. And this is not me saying that a woman is going to leave a guy who's not doing well for a dude that's doing well. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, even me being a man, I'm not going to stop dating someone or break off a relationship that I have with someone that I'm benefiting from in many different areas. Probably not just financially, but in many different areas I'm benefiting. I'm not going to break off that relationship with them that I'm benefiting from to get into a relationship where now I don't benefit at all. Women are generally
Okay. Hold on. Sir, let me stop you right there. Quick thing. I just have two questions for you, right?
Yes,
And then we're gonna get out of here. You say that she was down with it, right?
No.
Well, she didn't like it, but she still went
No,
along with it.
no. I'm saying that the text messages.
But those text messages, we are mostly from 2022. What about all the text messages where she was saying from 2022 on, I don't want this, I don't like this, stop doing this. I mean, again, just because you sleep with somebody the first 50 times, the 51st time, it's like, I'm not sleeping with you, and that's
Okay.
all there is to it.
So, just so you can understand my perspective of this, I don't think any man in his right mind would want to have another man sleep with his woman. That sounds like insanity. I just need to say that because I think that you're misrepresenting or you're just misunderstanding.
It's not, even if there was another woman in the room. I'm saying
I'm
that.
a Hebrew Israelite. I don't believe in any type of more than one person, more than two people having sex at a time. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, so I don't believe
Okay,
in none of that.
listen. How about this?
So I
this?
don't agree with the thing. The thing that you're thinking I'm agreeing with.
No,
promise
I
you
don't
I'm
think
not.
that's what you're agreeing with. It has nothing to do with another person being in the room. I think that, especially as a woman, I can sleep with you 50 times. I could be in the middle sleeping
No,
with
it's
you and
no.
still say, that's enough. We done.
Yeah,
We
no,
done.
no.
So my thing is, it's like they're bringing up testimony, but they haven't gotten into 2023 or even 2024.
Okay,
so
so-
to say it when she was whatever, but I do want to ask you this, right? Really quick, because I'm asking all the men. Really quick, what is sex trafficking by fraud?
Well, I'll go into what happens in divorce court for 2 seconds. So when you're in, because I'm gonna just reference something that's legal.
Okay.
So basically, what you were saying to the other gentleman, Joe, is correct. You can't offer somebody something of value, something that they deem of value, in order for a relationship, and then you not give it to them. That is fraud. So you can't say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna give you all of this, I'm gonna give you all of that, and you're in a relationship, and then you don't deliver on these things. That can be seen as fraud.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Nobody should be doing that to
Okay.
anyone.
Okay.
Just so we could be clear. So I don't think that she was complicit as far as these are things that she wanted to do.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that there was some period of time where she got a little bit clear-headed, and I can literally tell you when it was, where she could have then made a decision to do something different, and she didn't.
Okay. Well, listen, we are going to have to agree to disagree, but BBN Network, thank you so much. And listen, we really appreciate your perspective and your honesty. I mean, I think you're wrong, but we appreciate your perspective and your honesty. It is going to be interesting to see what the jury actually decides, because again, I could be right, he could be right, but at the end of the day, oh, you do think he's going to be found guilty?
Yeah, I don't need, that's
I
why
know. I
I'm
like the way that
You
sounds.
understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
I understand it, but you think I thought he was gonna be found innocent? I don't think.
No, I don't think that. I just think that people need to understand what sex trafficking by fraud is. That's all. You know, like I think he's guilty by the fraud part. That's what we were debating. But yeah.
I think he's guilty of sex trafficking.
Uh-huh.
I think he's guilty of the Mann Act.
Uh-huh.
I think he's guilty of drug trafficking. I mean, it's like, and that's just from the one person's testimony today.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by I don't think people are
Yeah, you-
actually like just her testimony today. He should be convicted on all three of those charges. But the problem is her testimony today also was uneven. So there's just gonna be jurists that just might.
I mean, you have a good point, right? Because I'm about to get out of here, but he has a good point that I think what he's trying to say is he thinks there's a real chance of having either jury nullification or a mistrial, because he thinks, given the doubt of the testimony of Jane, that there is a chance that they reached one person that just doesn't agree and doesn't sees her as complicit and doesn't think that there's account for sex trafficking. That's what you're saying. Yeah?
I think that he's in trouble.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think that she didn't help the prosecution.
Okay. I mean, listen, I appreciate your perspective, and it's a good one. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking time. All right, y'all have a good one. Are y'all going to be in the trial tomorrow? All right, hopefully we see you tomorrow. We see that opinion change, you know? All right. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so listen, men, men, MF and men, M men. All right. Anyway, you have a good one. All right. This is my guardian angel. He always helps me whenever I have to go and there is rain coming down. Right. So listen. Right. Let's get out of here. So listen, we're going to take this on the road. So anyway, this is what I'm saying, right? Because we got to get out of here. All right. The prosecution has proven, and I find it odd that I wish they could call Dr. Hughes back because I find it odd that a lot of men don't know what sex trafficking by fraud is. However, I will say that even the gentleman, this is the BBN network or the BCN, sorry, rewind if you want to know the exact channel name. I don't want to disrespect his channel. Listen, he even thinks that he is still guilty. They think he has them. He just thinks that Jane's testimony would help the defense more than the prosecution. I don't think so at all. Again, if you believe, and by believe, I mean like you accept the fact that there is a legal law, and this goes to Joe on logic, right? Of what sex trafficking by fraud is, you have no choice but to actually convict. And again, it just shocks me that a lot of these men don't know what it is. I don't know. Do y'all know what fraud is? Listen, again, there's things for like the jury nullification. There's things about like, okay, what can actually happen with like, one person, There's things for all that, but at the end of the day, it is what. See you guys. There is all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it actually is what it is, Hey, how you doing, baby? How you doing? Oh, so do you. So it's like, so listen, it is. Oh, yay! So wait, are we having line sitting? All right, perfect. All right, Trent. All right. So listen, see you guys, and thank you again. I'm gonna get your perspective tomorrow and see if it's changed a little bit at the end of the testimony, So yeah. So anyway, yeah. Sorry guys, I'm taking you. This is my end of day stuff. So anyway, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? You already know what I think. See you, mama. See you tomorrow. So then, listen. At the end of the day, the prosecution has that mofo dead to rights. Now, if y'all excuse me, I'm gonna take a little magic ride home because I don't want anybody following me. I'm gonna take a magic ride home and then I'm gonna go on live and give y'all the rest of the details and the tea. But when I say, please believe that, wait, hold on really quick. Let me read this mess. Hold on. Let me read this mess. I'm just reading some stuff. Stephanie Lemengos Battaglia said, Tisa, when are you and Nancy? Can you hear the other guests? I can. Lily Rose said, security, please have her back. Tisa, please. No, listen, I wasn't never in any danger, and my security was right there on the ready, just in case. D. Princess says, but notice how both men are changing their perspective each time Tisa spoke. Hope there's a woman like her on the jury. Me and you both. I don't understand how people don't actually know that. Hera Copel said, Tisa, he said, no, please bring the James Johnson said, male chauvinistic. Holla. Blush Child said, Tiny loved like she until she broke free. Okay. Exactly. She loved like that until she broke free. B. Dissel said, bruh, lane violation. Exactly. Also, I'm going to wait right here. Also, right? Jesus loves you said, thank you, Tisa, for being kind to everyone, even when you don't agree with them. Listen, it's all love. Hera Copel said, he's suspect, Tisa. Tara said, Tisa knows the truth. The Queen's Conversation said, healthy debates are necessary. Tisa, you're natural. Thank you so much. Also, La Nina said, love you and Joe debating. Need more of this. Thank you. Brenda Glass said, Tisa tells you're the best. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Aretha Hill, I'm going through questions. Hold on. Aretha Hill, before I go, I'm going to answer a few questions. Aretha Hill, thank you so much for the super chat. Katie Gallagher said, Why didn't he ever want to watch them with other women, only men? I find that really odd. As far as his desires and how he thinks, LOL, so I was trying to figure out what he's doing a psychopath time. Because I think he wanted to be them. I think he wanted to be him, but I think his trauma, and this is Diddy's trauma, I think it's so great. I think Diddy, I'm like right here. So I think I think Diddy's trauma is so great that I truly believe that he feels so uncomfortable living in his truth that he would rather, let me move this back, y'all, up in my face, and I'm the one holding the camera. I really think that Diddy's trauma was so bad and his shame is so bad that he cannot bear to at all accept who he is. So he needs a woman in between. I think that's even why he was rubbing baby all over their skin, because he wanted to be them, because he had some type of psychological block with touching the man directly. Do you know what I'm saying? B Dizzle said, I love this discussion, lol. Gotti said, I'm glad you did. Gotti said, that's Jack's the first that's Jack from First BBN Network. Shout out to BBN Network. Lisa Lou said, this is a sneak peek of Jury Deliverance. Exactly. See, here's the thing, guys, right? First of all, everybody that was just on right now, super respectful, seems super nice, but I want to start getting men's opinions, because the jury is about the jury is like, it's 60% male, so it's important that we actually get men's perspective. I wish Dr. Hughes was there to explain sex trafficking by fraud. Garrett Queen 69 said, Banna said, on or about September 26th. Check the papers, T said, it is there. I am going to check the papers. I remember her saying on or about 2. The Queen's Conversations Corner, thank you so much. I feel like sometimes, especially with men, they have a hard time believing that we are actually connected to our bodies. I'm not joking, and this isn't shade to anyone. This is all men. I find, no matter how nice or not nice they are, the fact that they don't understand that we are tied to our bodies, like it's not something separate from us, and no woman in her right mind will willingly participate in that over and over and over again. I just don't think they understand that. I don't think they understand. Alfonso Wesley, thank you so much for a super chat. Carol said, Doc says on or about the 26th. Thank you. I wish I was reading the super chats. Sherry Reddy said, cut his mic teaser. Oh, stand your ground. Justice must prevail. Loved you. Congratulations on all your success. Baby, I don't have to cut anybody's mic. Y'all know I can argue with the best of them. I grew up in a big family, and especially over Thanksgiving, they was about to get a Thanksgiving argument. Literally arguing over from the turkey to the time the pecan pie with ice cream gets on the table. We still going at it. They said, thank you, Tisa and Good Logic. Sass Bridget says, don't forget blackmail with the video and the baby's dad. Okay. Also, House of Glam said Cassie was a child that never knew love and thought that's what it was. Jane was grown and said all she ever wanted was love. 2 women with the same devil on top of them in 2 different eras. And I don't think men understand, because they weren't raised under that patriarchy, how much as a kid you are raised as a woman to look at love as an honor, as a gift, something that can heal your worries, something that can rebirth you, something that can turn you into something new. The deep state programming that women are taught from a young age, I think only women understand that. Think about it, if we as women stop believing in love, what's the next time a poor working guy is going to get some kitty cat? Society would fall. If we literally looked at it, and if we really looked at love as a con that was there to keep us subjugated, and smoke and mirrors they made in order for us to give free labor into a system that oppresses us, what else is there? What else is there? Hold on really quick, guys. I'm getting into the car. Hold on. Okay, let's go. Hold on. But honestly, y'all, what else is there? So when you say that, and that's what I mean. It's like, I feel like men sometimes don't understand that brainwashing from the time when you're young and you got baby dolls and Barbies and this and that, and even the wedding industry, the childbirth industry, the industry of just everything. I don't think that if men understand when somebody is like, oh, but he loves me, the promise, we're led to believe that Finding love is a lottery ticket, and with the good man. Anyway, I'm not going to get into this, but I just don't think men understand. Brenda Glass, thank you so much for the super chat. Blake said, with all due respect, sir, it's called Stockholm Syndrome and trauma bond. Exactly. J for 8 said, Teaser, you're so smart and intelligent. Oh, thank you. And her chat, gentlemen. Yeah, holla. Thanks to everyone. Bro Molina said, sir, if this was done to your daughter or sister or mother, what type of consequences would you consider appropriate? Curious to know. Exactly. Right? Fella said, is it coercion though? I believe it 100%. I believe they have coercion with the rent and the blackmail. I believe we have the fraud over and over again, and we have the force. What else is it? Like, what else is it? Also, keep in mind for this to stick, you only need 1 count of sex trafficking. And you need 2 predicate crimes for the RICO. Predicate crimes are any criminal crimes that follow. My Shepherd Pie said, I disagree with him. Putting Jane Doe and Cassie aside, the fact that male entertainers are engaged and paid in cash, the act is still prostitution. Exactly. Angel Lim said, if Joe's, yeah, exactly. It doesn't mean Joe, it doesn't mean she isn't trafficked because she loves her pimp. Exactly. D Princess said, live look at jury deliberations. I think that I would love, probably they would never have me on the jury. I would love to be in that Diddy jury right now. I would love to be on that Diddy jury right now. Oh, I would love. And deliberations, please. They gonna come back and be like, we're bringing back the guillotine. And the deliberations come back and they'll be like, so we decided not only is he guilty, but we're bringing back the guillotine. It's going to be in the public square. It's going to be broadcast live. Mars said she was brainwashed because he rugged her. Exactly. But too, what Jamie said, both of them had this need for love. Rizzo, Jersey girl living as a cowgirl in Texas. Thank you so much for the super chat. D Princess says he's going to be proven guilty for Cassie's testimony 1,000%. The government only needs 1 victim. Thank you, D Princess. Mia should have never took the stand, and Jane corroborates Cassie. Exactly. Olivia Maria, thank you. Let's celebrate your 5th super. Also, D Princess says, government has proven abduction, false imprisonment, sex trafficking, drug trafficking, transporting, extortion, bribery, criminal enterprise. Yes, are you missing anything? I believe that they have made a case for arson at that. Gina Montanero said, I watch all your videos. You're amazing. Thank you. Regine Bryant said, well done, Tisa. Keep your foot on Diddler's neck and everyone else involved in helping them terrorize these women. Love from St. Paul, Minnesota. Also, JLW said, did they prove racketeering or RICO? 100%. They've already got the racketeering charge. I did a video last Saturday actually outlining it. Not this Saturday, but the Saturday before that. Go ahead and check that out. It lays everything out. Splash Bucket said, who will be the defense strongest witness? Young Miami? Who knows if she's even testifying? She better stay in her lane. She got too much to lose, and she let that mofo destroy it. D Princess says the government has already proven this place. Why are people acting like they haven't? That's what's scary. Exactly. That is exactly what is scary. Really quick, a few other questions. My renewal, BA Transform, said, I hate that they always got to find something negative to say about the woman. Exactly. Like, yo, Mega the God said, YouTube biting your style, following the case, do your thing. Oh, thank you. Also, we have Sherry Reddy said, what in the actual helly? Say it for us with a spin and kick teaser. Love you, so proud. Thank you. Stacey Bucker said, all I can say is, yeah. All that I can say, yes. Donna Smith said, girl, remember women on the jury can be judgmental about other women. Yeah, so I was talking to Bernard. She's a former prosecutor. From Burden of Proof on ABC. Yes, so that's an ABC. And she was saying that, well, not her exactly, but there was a discussion going on. And people said that sometimes women are the most judgmental in sex cases. But again, they got him dead to rights. Corrine, thank you so much. Coco Camille said the expert should have came on after all the victims have testified.